Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahi Satyadevaya Dhimahi Dhanna Sarva Prachodayat Om Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahi Satyadevaya Dhimahi Dhanna Sarva Prachodayat Om Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahi Satyadevaya Dhimahi Dhanna Sarva Prachodayat Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
My humble pranams at the lotus feet of Swami. Sairam, dear brothers and sisters, leaders, elders, and everyone here. SSIO Malaysia has organized this satsang with a spirit of love and gratitude to all our respected elders and long-standing Sai devotees for their immense contribution to Sai organization. I am Nalini Arumugam from Subang Jaya Center, and I am the moderator for today's satsang. Dear brothers and sisters, today we have a special auntie with us, Auntie Saras Selva. Auntie Saras Selva has known Sai, our beloved Bhagwan, since 1980. She held various portfolios under the education wing. She was the National Education Coordinator from 1995 till 2005. Then she was the Vice President of the Education Wing from 2006 till 2008. Dear brothers and sisters, with Swami's love, I would like to start with the first question. Before that, Auntie, are you here with us, Auntie Saras?
Yes.
Yes, Auntie, we are indeed very blessed and honored to have you with us. Auntie, you know that in Malaysia, Malaysia is well known for our established Valvikas, or rather SSE syllabus and education. Many of the senior devotees have planted the seeds whereby we, the younger generation, are enjoying the fruits of your effort. Thank you so much, Auntie. Auntie, I would like to kickstart the first question. Being the pioneer figure in setting education wing in Malaysia, can you please explain briefly on how you started SSC in Malaysia? Over to you, Auntie.
My humble pranams to the lotus feet of Bhagwan Baba. In 1975, Bhajan learning sessions were introduced to children of Sai devotees.
Next slide, Sai.
In 1978, informal Valvikas classes were initiated by individual gurus in Segamat, Melaka, Johor, and Johor Bahru. In 1981, the first Valvikas teachers train the teachers course was held in Prashanti Nilayam. 14 gurus or 14 Malaysian devotees attended the program, 1981, and where they taught us the 5 values and the 5 teaching techniques. And when we came back, Brother Jagadesan, Dato Jagadesan was very excited about the program, and he called the World Council leader, Mr. Indulal Shah. And then the following year, in 1982, Mrs. Indulal Shah, Sarala Shah, and her team came from India to train us. But 74 gurus and those who went for the trainers training program joined in the training program in 1982. It was eye-opening for all of us when we trained, and then the trainers program was launched. A World Teachers Conference was held in Prashant Nilayam in India between 25th of December in 1983, and the purpose was defining the objectives of Valvikas and reviewing the syllabus. Next slide. Sairam sister, and then defining this syllabus. And here they asked me to speak on the teaching techniques. So while I was singing a few songs in English, and Swami walked behind. It was held in the Purna Chandra hall. And Swami came from the back and he stood there. I was the third speaker. Then he came there when I was speaking, and he left before I could finish. So I was very fortunate, and I think he gave me the confidence to speak, I think, when he came there. And in 1984,
Next slide.
Next slide, please. In 1984, Malaysia organized the Far Eastern Symposium on Human Values with speakers from Malaysia, Thailand, and India. From Malaysia, late Brother Jagadeva, and from Thailand, Dr. Atong Junsai, and from India, Indulal Shah came to represent the 3 countries, and representatives from the Ministry of Education were exposed for the first time to the concept of the SAI, education and human values. In 1985, 17 Malaysian children, I think mostly all these children were from Johor Bahru. They were Valvikas Group 3 children who sat for the All India examination. And they did very well. And one of the candidates emerged top in Malaysia and India. They were no other than the son of Dr. Ravindran and Dr. Vijay Lakshmi. We were so proud of him. And now Malaysia now had registered Central Council. SSE was now one of its wings.
Yeah, next slide.
Slider. And we had all the syllabus.
Yeah,
Yes.
Auntie.
Yes.
Auntie? Yeah. I'm sure that you were so blessed and chosen by Swami to attend the Train the Trainer program in India. Yeah. After attending there, Auntie, when you came back, how did you start Valvikas or SSE in Malaysia? What were your resources?
Sister, we had the training program, but we had no resource materials. So the first thing that we have to learn how to teach the mantras. And we were very fortunate. Dr. Vijay Lakshmi from Johor Bahru, she came to KL and she had 2 days training program, and we made CDs of the mantras and the Gita slokas that was in the syllabus so that the teachers can learn and teach the children. That's the first mantra and sloga book. And then and as a coordinator of the Bangsa Center, and all gurus, the senior gurus sat down to write the books on the various subjects, like various subjects. We followed the syllabus, and we followed, and we wrote the lesson plans for group 1, year 1, year 2, and for group 2, year 1. And the bhajan books were also with the meanings of each word were done for the children to follow. And then the other last book, the Teen Youth Program, was, I must thank Sister, late Sister Shanti for that book. It was a brainchild of the book. And it was very useful, and even no other countries in the world had that book, because after Valvikas Group 3, they started this teen youth program for ages 16 to 21. Next slide.
Thank you, Auntie. The book, the Teen Youth book, was the brainchild of late Auntie Shanti as well as Sister Kunavini. Thank you so much for that. And Auntie, yeah, I would like to just check, Auntie, because Swami always says, my life is my message, expansion is my life. And I think you are the role model for expansion is my life, because when you started SSE class, I was told that you used to do 4 to 5 classes in a day. And I'm just amazed that how did you get such motivation, such energy to do 4 to 5 classes a day? Auntie, please share your insight so that you can inspire us as well as the audience here. Yeah, over to you, Auntie.
Dear Nalini, when I planned one lesson plan, I went to one estate. I started with Ebo Estate, then I went to Damansara Estate and Bukit Kamuning Estate, and then I went to Pure Life to teach the same subject. I'll be repeating it about 4 times. You know who benefited most? The values and the teaching. Most of all, I did it. It changed my life completely, sister. And at that time, we didn't have any resource materials. So we came up with the Sri Satisai Manida Made Bhatta Jnana Nool. I compiled this book with the help of some Tamil school teachers and my neighbor who was the ambassador from Sri Lanka, Mr. Rajan Pillai. He was an ardent devotee of Swami, and he helped me with this book. And finally, I published about 3,000 books and was all sold out. And also the first publication, I took it to Swami, and Swami blessed this book when I went to see him. And then the SAI Council also printed more books. And I don't see any more books there, sister, in the center.
That's just a wonderful sharing, Auntie, because not only you train the teachers, but you also help the teachers to get some resources by printing books, and as well as Tamil books to help the deprived children as well. Thank you so much, Auntie. Auntie, before we go further, I just would like you to share with us, because you said you are so motivated because you love Swami. But I was told that you were one of the chosen one where you have received a lot of calling cards from Swami. Perhaps this is the time for you to share with us a few calling cards that you have received. When I say calling cards, you know what I mean. Auntie, would you like to show us and share with us briefly about your visiting cards or calling cards?
First time I went, sister, he gave me a little locket, also for my cousin who was there, that is Dato Jaga's mother, and we were there, and he gave both of us the same locket. On one side was Rama Pattabhisham, and the other side is Shrivi Sai. And underneath the Shrivi Sai, you'll see TPS, Tara Puttapati Sai, the star of Puttapati. And I was not able to meditate, sister, for many years. I was disturbed by different thoughts. So I told Swami. Then he materialized this chain for us. The chain for me with Tulasi Mala with 90 beads. And I put this on and I meditate. It gives me the good vibration. And he said, it's purity of your thoughts when you meditate. And when he materialized his chain, he was passing it around to all the Anandapur teachers who were there and asked them to smell. And I'm sitting there and looking at him. then he collected it back, and I thought, why he didn't give it to me to smell? And he put this tulasi mala around my neck. I must thank Swami for that. I'm very
Thank you
grateful to that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Auntie. That's I think this is also one of the reasons how you were so inspired and motivated to be an effective instrument in the SAI fold, especially SSE. Thank you so much, Auntie. Before we end, we would like to say the last question to you. Okay, can you please tell, Auntie, you have gone for the training in Bhakti. In the presence of Swami, you have presented the techniques of teaching, and you created materials, but how did you develop and progress in creating so many gurus in Malaysia? Now I look at our number of gurus. Even 2002, there were about more than 5,000 over trained teachers. Could you share with us who were the pioneers there to facilitate and train the young teachers? Auntie?
At that time,
Next slide, please. Yes, Auntie?
At that time, I was inspired by Dr. R. Tomlinson Sai, Sister Lorraine, who came to train our teachers in the early stages, or we went to Thailand to learn the teachers training for the teachers training program. And then we had very good speakers like late Brother Jagadeva, Sister Jagadeva, Sister Sri Jayan, Dr. Poornima, and Brother Jagadisan. They were all word trainers. I'm very happy to see that we had such very good trainers at that time. And later on, Sister Tara, Sister Shanta, and many others became the trainers. In every state, there were trainers there in Malaysia.
Yes, Auntie. I remember even when I first attended the training in 1992, you were one of the trainers, and Auntie Jagadeva, late Auntie Shanti, and few others. I think you inspired us. And today I'm not teaching currently, but I was many years involved in teaching. Swami says there are three types of gurus, or the gurus who can inspire, and you can see a lot of these figures inspiring others in the cycle. Thank you so much, Auntie. Maybe we could see the next slide to see how you started the first Valvikas Yatra. Yeah,
Can I start with the World Educare Conference?
Yes, Auntie, please do. Please do.
World Educare Conference was held in Prasanthi Nilayam. For me, the educare, the word care was so much meaning to me. It helps us to care for our parents, care for the environment, care for animals, care for everything in this world. The Parabrahman, we care. And that was very meaningful to me when I saw that program. And there were trained teachers who went first in 2001 for the Valvikas EHV gurus. And this was educare, was in how to incorporate educare in the Valvikas EHV syllabus. When we came back, a national educare conference was held in Kuala Lumpur. This educare program was launched by Swami, and the main speakers were Brother Dato Jagadisan, Dr. V.K. Ravindran, with 300 participants from all over the country attended the conference. And the teachers, trainers went to all states to conduct the workshop for EHV and Valvikas to implement the educare into the existing syllabus. I remember when I became the Vice President of Education, the National Educare Coordinator was no other than the present Sugumaran, and we went there. And I always tell him he's my son, because I was married in 1960 and he was born in 1961. So I said, you are like my son. And my mother and son went everywhere, to every state in Malaysia, even in Sabah and Sarawak. We had the classes, we had the training program with the respective gurus from their states too.
Yeah, thank you, Auntie. So can we have the next slide? Okay, this is the Yatra, Auntie, the teachers, the statistics of the teachers and students. Would you like to say how you progressed from 1996 to 2002?
1996, sister, we had about 2,996 students. But by the end of 2002, we have 5,286. It's all due to the teachers who spend their time, valuable time, teaching these children. In 1996, there were only 204 teachers. By the end of 2002, we had about 345 teachers. They all were very dedicated teachers. I was so inspired by some of the teachers in the different states.
Yeah. Thank you, Auntie. Swami says that students are my property, and I think you have created teachers and students, so you are the biggest property of Swami. Can we have the next slide, please? Yes, Auntie, next slide, please.
In 1998, the first Valvikas Yatra we went, about 74 of us, including the teachers, and we had a very good program. I know Brother Mahendran came with us. He was such a great help with the students, the boys' side and girls were all very excited. And after the bhajans, we wear our scarves and we go around the hat and everything to all the places like Chitra, that we were, all the places that we visited around Swami's place, the meditation tree, those trees. And I remember the teachers who was prepared notes for the children, and then we had quiz at the end of the day. And Swami was so pleased. Even he came and materialized Vibhuti for the children in there when they were in Darshan line. I remember Brother Billy Fong's son. Swami materialized Vibhuti, and he came at the end of the day and he said, "So, teacher, Auntie Saras, Swami gave me Vibhuti." He was such an angel, and he was holding the Vibhuti and sharing with the others. And
okay. Yeah, next slide, please.
Next slide, sister. And this dance was, we were given the song. The song was
Love is my form.
Love is my form. And then they gave the song to every country, and they have to come up with something. And we came up. I must thank Sister Parimala for teaching them the dance. And these children are in typical Malay costume. And they did it well with holding the lotus, lighted lotus in their hands. And another thing, sister, on the same year, we had this beautiful swan float done by Brother late George. He spent so many hours making these floats with all the little feathers that were stuck along the side. And this was the float from Malaysia. We were very proud of the work that Brother late George contributed to our program.
Next slide, please. Thank you, Sister Pramila, and she's here today in call with us. She will be coming in later. Yeah, thank you, Sister Pramila. Okay. Yes, Auntie, would you like to say anything about this?
Yeah, sister, this is a summer course in 1993 when I heard that some gurus from US have gone. So I asked my group 3 students, will you like to go? They all, oh, why not? We will go. And they were so excited. And 7 of them came with me with two gurus. Sister Muthu and myself were with them. And it was the most exciting period in my life, I should say, for the summer course. And you see Miss Madam Munianti at the end standing next to me, and she is the principal of the primary school, Satya Sai Primary School. And then the other side, in the middle next to me on my left, is Pushpa, Madam Pushpa. She is the headmistress of the Anandapur College. And it was wonderful trip. And we took a letter from the council. The registrar of the college said, I have nothing to do with foreign students. And Swami didn't see the difference between his student and our students. And he called us in. It was a miracle, sister. It was a real miracle.
Thank you, Auntie. I think, next slide, please. I think, Auntie, you were so blessed, and you also tag along the summer course girls to enjoy and get blessings from Swami. Thank you so much, Auntie. You can see this slide, dear brothers and sisters, where Swami, Auntie Saras and Auntie Gomati Muthu and the school principal are doing Arati for Swami. So I think this is the best moment in life to do the Arati for the avatar. Auntie, you are so really blessed, Auntie. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, let us take a short intermission. We have a few guest appearances today. To introduce the special guest, we invite Sister Sai. Over to you, Sister Sai.
Sai Ram, everyone. So, very good evening. And today we have special guests with us, guest appearances. And before we carry on to the next agenda, just a mini intro on what is this whole summer course about. So during the 1970s, Swami actually initiated a series of summer course at his ashram in Vrindavan. And they were open to all the students in India. And these sets of Akas, they were very privileged to actually attend the summer course. So I would like to introduce all our Akas. So just a minute, let me get the slides ready. Just a minute. Okay. Okay, so today we have our set of vibrant Akas. Okay, they are fondly known as Akas to all our younger youths. So we have Sister Premila here with us, Sister Kashmira Kiran, Sister Anusia Jagadisan, Sister Indra Malar Satguna Singham, and last but not least, Sister Anusia Nachimuthu. So to kick off the first question, the first question is referring to Premila Akka and also Kashmira Akka. So what were the preparation all of you had to do before going for the summer course? And how did you get enrolled into the summer course? Please share your experience with us during your stay in summer course. To you, Premila Akka.
Premila, you muted. Unmute. You're still muted, dear.
Unmute, Premila, you're still muted.
Okay, maybe we can carry on to Kashmira Akka.
Yeah, Premila says she's not able to unmute. Kashmira?
Sairam, can you all hear me?
Okay, she managed to unmute.
Yes. So, Sairam, uncle, aunties, brothers and sisters. Yes. So, dear Sai, based on your question, as Auntie mentioned earlier, it all started with that very one question that Auntie Cyrus had to her ex-Valvikas students and devotees of the children of the devotees. And the question was, would you all like to come and join me to the summer course in Whitefield? And all of us said, yes, Auntie, definitely we would. And she told us that, it was an amazing experience because she heard from the American students that went the year before that they had fantastic darshan. So we all seized that opportunity. And as Auntie mentioned, there were 7 of us, 2 aunties. And on the 16th of May, we landed in White.
Premila, you got muted again.
Okay, the first sadhana that actually took place was in our own Bangsa Center, where we weekly used to connect and discuss about Swami's teachings. We did individually namasmaranas, as well as meditating in the context of trying to have the one-pointedness towards Swami. So that was our prep in context of going for the summer course. But let me share with you all what happened when we actually landed. So we went into the ashram, and Auntie, together with us, we went into the accommodation room to request for accommodation for the 9 of us, as well as to get permission to be registered for the summer course.
And there we were completely refused. They told us that, the summer course was actually dedicated for the local students who were there in India. And it's not any local students that can go in, but they have to sit for an exam before they can actually be entered into the summer course. So we were very upset, very sad, but that accommodation personnel did tell us that if you really want to go, it is all upon Swami. So if Swami permits, then you can join the course. So for the time being, we were all staying in this glass colony that's about 30 minutes away from the ashram. So the next day, when we actually went for darshan, Swami completely ignored us. He didn't come near us, and he didn't give us a chance to even ask whether Swami, would you allow us to join summer course? So this happened subsequently for a few days. And then, it was getting really close, and the summer course was actually going to start. So Auntie Saris actually went to the registrar constantly, almost every day, requesting for us to be given that permission to join the summer course. And what happened here is it was time where Swami was going to give out the badges to students. So he hands out the badges individually, and we were all seated outside waiting. But in that prayer time, we were all focused and we really prayed so hard. Auntie Saris did guide us and say, students, pray hard, but at the same time, surrender it to Swami and let him make that decision whether we should actually join the summer course, or if not, then we will have fantastic bhajans and darshans during our stay. Swami walks out from his home and into the hall, and here we are all seated. And then Swami looks at us, smiles, and he says, "Go in." And we were all shocked. "Us, Swami? Do you want us to go in?" And he said, "Yes, go in." And that was the time we really felt that, Swami heard us, and Swami gave us the blessing and grace to join his summer course sessions. And in this prayer session that we had, I really learned the power of prayer and the power of surrender. And it was all between the connection from one heart to another that Swami heard us yearning and, praying really hard. And he blessed us with this summer course experience. Before I pass it on to Kashmira, I'd just like to say thank you so much, Auntie Saris, for giving us this opportunity, this lifetime opportunity. If you had not triggered that first question, today we wouldn't have had such wonderful experience with Swami. So thank you once again. And Swami also did say that you are our mothers. So thank you, Amma, and thank you so much for giving us this wonderful blessings with Swami. Over to you, Kashmira.
Thank you, Sister Premila. Saram, uncles, aunties, brothers, and sisters. Yes, I will continue regarding our stay there. Okay, Swami was extremely kind to us. We were practically a group of young students who were unknown to anyone, so insignificant, and yet Swami gave us so much of love and attention. He fulfilled all our little wishes that we had. He actually spoke to us like as if he was one of us, so casually. He joked with us, asking us if we where was our husbands and things like that, teasing us. He even ate with us. As you can see in one of the pictures here, we actually had meals with him. He would actually come in and we would not touch our food until Swami actually ate from his food. And after that, we had the privilege of actually eating the food that he ate. It would be distributed to everyone as prasadam. So this was really unbelievable. We had numerous interviews. Actually, I think I can't remember how many. And he gave us this bliss and joy of witnessing so many miracles in the interview rooms, of him materializing things. He actually even materialized things for us. Actually, it was simply beyond our wildest dreams. I mean, never in our lives imagined any of these. Anyway, all of these remain as constant reminders to me and maybe to all of us who experience it, that Swami loves each and every one of us totally and unconditionally, regardless of who we are. Besides that, now, however, attending the summer course wasn't an actual holiday. So it was physically very demanding as we were out of our comfort zones. We had to sleep on very thin mattresses, cramped in a very small living space with very basic necessities. One of the years, 9 of us had to share one small room with one toilet. And believe me, these rooms were way smaller than the ones in Prashanti Nilayam. So I can't believe we did that actually. And there were some years where we did not even get a room in the ashram, as the ashram was quite small. So we had to stay away from the ashram at the glass colony, which was dusty, not a very comfortable condition. But we stayed and we were just as happy. We walked to and fro in the mornings, evenings to the ashram for the talks, all dressed in saris. We had to do all our chores, all dressed in saris, wash toilets in saris. And because Swami was very particular that we had to be dressed in our traditional costume with bangles, earrings, everything. So that was one experience for all of us. Yeah. And we even had exams actually at the end of the summer course. So we had to wake up in the wee hours of the morning, study things that were way beyond our understanding actually. At that point of time, we were only like 19, 20. So we had to study for the exams, and we had to make sure that we didn't do badly and bring a bad name to ourselves. So we actually had to work hard for that. So all of this doesn't seem like a holiday that you would want, right? But we went back every year. Many of us went back every year for at least 5 to 6 years, because Swami was that magnet, or his love was that magnet that made us go back every year. We did not care a little bit for any material comforts. Our love for Swami made us bear all the discomforts, adhere to all the discipline that we had to follow when we were there, and make sure that we live up to his expectations. Not a word of complaint from any of us. We were just as happy as we were, and we were so united, living together with one pointed devotion to Swami. We even became detached from our families at home and hardly called home to speak to them. And our families too left us in charge of our dear Auntie Saras, whom we cannot thank enough, and who took care of us. During one of our trips, my father actually had a trip to the US while I was there in Whitefield. And I actually did not even want to go, but Auntie Saras talked to me and said that this is an opportunity of a lifetime that you should not miss, and made me leave the summer course halfway to actually go back. So it just tells you that being in the proximity of Swami, all worldly desires come to a standstill. Even shopping was only done on the last day with whatever little money we had left. So all these experiences in all the later years from then till now, this experience of detachment, going beyond these worldly desires and physical comforts, has helped me overcome many situations that I have faced in my life. In the 28 years from then till now, Swami is my pillar of strength, and he is always guarding and guiding in whatever ups and downs that I have faced so far. He has also blessed me with a family that is actively involved in SAI activities, and I pray that we continue to do so. With that, all I can say is thank you, Swami, and Jai Sai Ram.
Wow, thank you so much, Premila Akka and also Kashmir Akka. Listening to your stories actually gave me goosebumps, and oh wow, this whole thing actually made me miss Pati, and I'm sure everyone else in this call missing Pati so deeply now. So next, so what was some of the key takeaways during the summer course and also after the summer course? We're also eager to know, what did you all learn there? How did it feel like? So passing on these questions to Anusuya Akka, Indra Akka, and also Anuka. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, I'm just going to jump in and I'm going to say that one of the we had courses every day, different talks. So you go for darshan, then you go for one talk, and then you go for another talk. And, it was so, and there was a lot that we learned. Okay, Bhajago, we learned about Bhagavatam when one of the years we were there, and many talks. The one that actually, I would say, influenced my life and actually still has a very big influence in my life is, it started with a talk by Colonel Mahadevan, who was this colonel in the Indian Army, who went up to the Himalayas with his army people, and he promised his mom he will never take alcohol when he joined the army. So, but the Chinese Red Army at that point in time had poisoned the water, and he had a choice between drinking alcohol or poison water. So he made the choice of, you know what, I'm going to drink the poison water because I told my mother, I will not drink it. He took the poison water, he said the Gayatri Mantra. And he said a lot of things about the power of the Gayatri Mantra, but he said the Gayatri Mantra and he took this poison water and he drank, and you know what? He's still there to tell us the story. So after that, we had sessions with Swami, like we had these interviews with Swami, and Swami was so fun during the interviews. And during the interview, Swami when we brought up the Gayatri Mantra, Swami said the Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha, we all know earth, sky, heaven. But Swami said, who you think you are, who other people think you are, and who you really are. And from this, my understanding of the Gayatri Mantra suddenly went poof. The Gayatri Mantra and why it's been so important, it's not about an external form, it's about your internal form, merging with God, and having that connection with God. And you know what? Swami said, do 27, Colonel Mahadevan said, do 27 a day. And when I went back, I'm not a good student, I'm the second. The good student was my brother, my younger brother. They all were much smarter than me. You can go and see exams. I failed papers before, but I did the Gayatri Mantra every day 27 times. And for the first time in my life, I got on the dean's list. And since then, being the not smart person between brothers who are much smarter, I'm actually the one who's got an associate professorship. So the one thing I will say, and because I've taken it back and I know the power of the Gayatri Mantra, that one really, if not for Auntie Saras and the summer course, I would not have sat down and done the Gayatri Mantra the way I did it. I wouldn't rely on the Gayatri Mantra now anytime I'm stuck, and it helps unstuck because you focus on the mind and you focus on making your mind bright and sharp. And these are talks which now I have done. I've taken to students who are not Sai devotees in schools. I've talked to university students about it. I've shared it with university students, and I've even shared it on Facebook and had an amazing reaction on Facebook from it. And honestly, the amount of knowledge that we have from Swami, from all the people there, it is amazing, and it does change your life. And so, when we go and we put into practice one or two things, just one or two, that makes sense to us, and this made so much of sense to me, that created a snowball effect that now I'm Associate Professor Dr. Anastasia. I come on radio, I come on this. I don't even know how sometimes people listen to me, but people seem to want to listen to me. Thank you, Auntie Saras. Really, she definitely was one of my gurus. And she's also my grandmother, physical grandmother. So thank you, Auntie Saras.
So passing over to Indra Akka with her beautiful experiences.
Hi, Saram, everybody. Attending the summer course was really exquisite. I mean, it gave us a chance to be Swami students for, even if it was just for 2 weeks, because being a student of Swami was something that I was truly desirous, not maybe for the long term, forever staying there, but like to experience being his student. Every time I see the boys with him and how close they are with him, I would be so envious, and because he'll be so loving with them, playful, and we got that chance. But some, as my sister said, summer course was a lot of hard work. We had to go for a lot of lectures, and a lot of the lectures were about things that were beyond me. Like the first course we went was about the mind. And then he spoke about, there's the super mind, the higher mind, the illuminated mind, and the overmind. I mean, I still don't understand what that is. But the thing about Swami is, he always says that the end of education is character. And so he breaks, after all this, like really intense teachings, he breaks it down into really practical things about how we can apply in our life, and it just makes sense. And the good thing about the summer course and our experience is, because of the interviews, what we would do is we would go back after all the lectures, we would write down all the questions that we have, maybe like 20 questions. I still have them in this book. And then we will ask him. So we will ask him to explain those things that he lectured about. And so one of the things he says was that you should dedicate everything that you do to God. Okay, and that everything is God's work, and you should dedicate everything you do to God. And then we asked him, but how, Swami, how to do that all the time? You know, sometimes you just forget and you just go on autopilot and you just do things. How do we always keep you in our mind? Then he said, it takes practice. Everything that you do, when you're sweeping the house, you know, you just say that you're sweeping all the dirt from your heart. When you're rolling chapati, just think broad mind, broad heart. When you're cutting vegetables, you just think you're cutting your ego, you know, things like that. So he said, you know, you have to practice. And then, but also I had a lesson that was really very personal and maybe quite painful. During the first interview, he materialized a watch for me, and I was so happy. But then very next day, it stopped working. And then thankfully, we had another interview. And so I asked him, Swami, my watch is not working. And then he said, wind it. And then I was like, And then he said, watch your words, actions, thoughts, character, and heart. At that time, all I could think about is what's wrong with my words, actions, thought, character, and heart? What's wrong with me? And then, you know, I just decided to think about it, and then we went back. And another trip, he materialized a pendant. And years later, I used to go swimming all the time. And years later, I lost the pendant. It got lost in the swimming pool and nobody could find it. And then I thought, oh my God, I lost something else again. What's wrong with me? I keep losing things. And then it forced me to think about what's important. You know, yes, it's really heartbreaking to lose something that Swami gives you. But, you know, he has given me something that I will never, ever lose, and something even more precious, believe it or not, than the watch or the pendant. He has given me lessons that guide me every day in my life. He has, even today when I was cooking dinner and cutting the onions, I was thinking I have to cut my ego. So, you know, things like that that are really practical and that have really guided me in my whole life. And he also gave me a chance to play harmonium in front of him and sing bhajans. And bhajans were my life. For the longest time, bhajans were my life. And those kind of things, I will never lose in a swimming pool, or it'll never stop working. So, you know, I can say that there has never been something more precious than the summer course for me. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you, Indraka. That was very emotional. I could even feel a lump in my throat. Okay, and passing on to Anu Mutuaka.
Okay, Sairam. Okay, my sisters have shared so much. It's just bringing you back to the years, and those were my golden years too. Sairam. Oh no.
Sairam Akka, we can hear you.
Oh, you can? Okay, I don't know. My screen just went blank. Okay, never mind. So I will start with, you know, every year we used to make cards for Swami, right? And it was because I used to love making cards. So I would bring all the materials and we were doing. So in 95, we were staying in the boys' hostel. We got a place there. And there was quite a big room. So we were all sharing and we were all sitting down and I was, you know, doing the card. So the front part of the card was a picture of Swami, and we had pictures of ourselves taken. And I was cutting out our faces, and you know, we were all putting it around Swami, and then we were all joking, say, look at it, this is like all the Navagrahas. At that time, there were 9 of us, you know, all the Navagrahas around Swami, and we were joking and we were, you know, doing the card. And then we had an interview that year. And during the interview, Auntie Saras gave the card. So when, you know, Swami took it and then he said, how many? And Auntie said 9 of us. Navagrahas. I was like, oh my God. You know, it just strikes you that he is there. He's the silent listener or the person, unseen guest, or, you know, that is just there watching, seeing, listening to everything that we do. You know, it was like, oh, wow. it's a lesson that I am there in everything in your life. We think that, Swami is not going to see this, or he doesn't know there's nothing that we can hide from him. He knows every single bit of it. So continuing this, so during that interview, the same interview, we sang Humko Tumse. It was one of our favorite songs. So this was, so we sang to Swami, and we sang the first part, which is the Hindi version. And Swami was doing all these hand gestures. He was like showing this much, love, the Humko Tumse. So he was like, only this much we love him. I said, oh my God, that's how much we love compared to his unconditional love. And when he came to the Telugu version of it, he was actually, he stopped, and then he was saying it line by line and with the meaning. So he said, Neevu leni ma jeevanam, and he was doing all these hand gestures with his, like a fish, suffering without water. And we were so excited. Then he asked, would you all sing bhajans, at the SAI Ramesh Hall? I was like, okay, sing bhajans. And he said, yes, Swami. And then Anandi, I remember, she said, Swami, there are 9 of us. We will sing 9 bhajans and you must sit through all the 9. He said, yes, I will. So then we had that opportunity to sing. But what happened also was that the US girls had another interview on their own, and Swami had told them to join forces and sing bhajans for him. So we all started practicing, and that's the year Indra played the harmonium. And we was all set, and we were sitting at the SAI Ramesh Hall. I remember I was sitting in the first line, and the mic was in front of me. And I have this thing with mics. I know a lot of them who are with me, they will know, this phobia. And I was like pushing the mic a little bit. And then I saw someone's hand say, no, you push it back. And then I turned and I looked, and it was P. Sushila, the famous singer. I was like, oh my God, what am I doing here? That confidence that I didn't have. But, pushed it back. Okay, the music came, we sang. So we sang the first song, we sang the second. And then when it came to the 8th song, after that, Swami got up, because the last song that we had prepared was Humko Tumse. Swami got up, my heart sank. I was like, oh no, Swami, you promised 9 songs, but you left at 8, you got up at 8. And then, I was really down. I was very low. I think Indra also was feeling it. And then Uncle Bhatia, he was there with the boys after, because Swami has sessions with the students after that in Trai Vrindavan. And then he came, he said, no, Swami spoke very nice. He said, you all sang very well, even better than the boys. And I couldn't believe a word. Swami not saying his students are good enough. I said, no, this cannot be. So the next day at Darshan, Swami passed us, and then he saw the whole lot of us, and he said, yesterday's bhajan was very good. Oh, okay. It was a big thing lifted off my chest. And he walked a couple of steps, and then he turned back and he said, oh, together you all were better than the boys. Oh my God, that was like the best compliment we could ever get from Swami, that we were better than the boys. Okay, we were so envious of them because they could do everything with him. So that made our day. But this doesn't stop here, because, the promise of the 9 bhajans. Okay, the following year in 96, we also had another opportunity to sing. And that year I played the harmonium. Indra missed because she couldn't make it. So then we were seeing a pattern that Swami was only staying for like 5 bhajans, at most 5 or 6. That was it. So when we had that opportunity, we said, we'll prepare 7 and we will go. Then something, say, okay, just in case, we never know, 2 songs, but we didn't really practice a lot. We just practiced once or twice, and we said, okay, in case if it happens. But believe it or not, that year, Swami sat through 7 songs. Then the 8th song, which we just put it aside, okay, we sang. He sat through the 8th song, and then it was the 9th song. I remember I was playing the harmonium, and these thoughts were running in my mind. I said, Swami, you need to go. You have to get up and go, because we've got no more songs. And, it was such a horrible thing to say, but I had no choice. And this was running in my head, and he got up and we had Arati done. But I was just thinking, and was just recollecting back these things, when it comes to Swami, when it comes to anything that we do, we have to be 100%, we can say, but I think with him, it's 110 or 120%. You just have to be prepared for the unprepared thing. Anything can happen. So it was lessons like this that Swami taught us in everything. So it was not just the summer course and the lectures, but in experiences like this, Swami taught us so many lessons, and these are the lessons that we have kept, and we have, that is we still hold on to. So I thank, our guru and Auntie Saras, who has, who gave us this opportunity for this beautiful, amazing phase in my life, because I think I was going to see him for like 5 years in a row. So 93 right up to 97, I missed 98, 99, just 1 month before my wedding, I went again. But anyway, thank you so much. These are some of the small snippets that we have shared with everyone. I hope that, we all can go back with something that we have learned. Sairam, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Anuka. Sometimes Swami never failed to amaze us with all his chutti leelas, and they come with lessons also. So we have a question from the audience, from Sister Rekha. So she said, because you all kind of shared a lot of light-hearted moments that you all had with Swami. So please share your experience, this light-hearted moment experience with Swami. We want to know, how was it like? Swami is a God. So we want to know, like, how is God, like how he walks, how is he, how he speaks, did it feel to be next to him? So
I'm going to say this because it's one of the biggest things which I learned is don't be scared of God. God is not about sin, it's not about punishment. He is about love, and he is so much fun. And there was this girl who had this scrunchie on her hand, and Swami walks past her and looks at her and looks at the scrunchie and goes, "What is that?" And she goes, "Scrunchie, Swami." And Swami actually went, "Scrunchie, munchy, munchy." And we were like, "What?" He kept making jokes. He kept remembering us. Remember us. I mean, he called me Pakora. And then, so the Auntie Saras was given all these containers of stuff. And, this was like hundreds, thousands of girls all around. The second year which I went, I only went for 2 years. And the second year which I went, and Swami said, "Okay, all the food is there." Auntie Saras went to pick it up. She said, no, get the Pakora to take it. And he pointed at me to come and collect it. And there was one point which I always remember because it was so cute. I mean, your girls, your grooming and all that, right? And we were standing outside waiting to go into the hall, and Swami was in his window and he was combing his hair in the window. It was so amazing. Okay. And so, he cracked jokes, we were laughing, and but he taught us at the same time. It was about our development, and he taught us, but he was all the time laughing, smiling, and just loving us so much. And I'll honestly tell you, seriously, when people tell you be afraid of God, no, don't. It's a lie. It's the saddest lie of all, because really God was so fun and so loving, and that is love. God is love. Okay, so that was one of my favorite things on the trip.
Thank you so much, Anisu Akka. Thank you so much. A big round of applause for all our Akkas here. I think tonight I'm going to go to bed thinking and playing all your stories in my mind. So thank you so much, all of you Akkas. We learn a lot from you, the younger youths. Passing on to the moderator, Sister Nalini.
Sairam, thank you, Sister Sai. And it was just beautiful, excellent stories and personal experiences that we have heard from these 5 beautiful petals who have blossomed into beautiful souls who are still the instrument in His mission. Thank you very much, the summer course girls. I still call you summer course girls because that's how I remember all of you. Yeah, thank you so much again, once again. All right, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, now we have got another special person with us. This person is such a composed sister in the Sai fraternity. 3 generations from her family have been serving Swami. She is none other than Sister Tara Menon, the late Uncle V.P. Menon's daughter. So now, do you agree with me that she is a beautiful soul and a composed person? We all? All right. Sister Tara, are you here with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Sister Tara, it's really wonderful to have you with us today. And by looking at your profile picture as well as the family background, gives us a great picture and recalls a lot of uh, sacrifices and also, of course, contribution done by your late father as well. Now you're continuing the what we call the trend. Okay, Sister Tara. Okay, can you please share with us how you started your spiritual journey with Swami?
Sairam, thank you for having me on the session. I started actually in 1975, following my parents to the Bhajan Center there in Malacca, when we were living in an estate in Malacca at that time. And then last week's session, when Sister Chandrika shared about 1975, when she started going to Bhajans, I just clicked that probably the whole Bhajan experience, Bhajan in Malaysia had started at that time in 1975 onwards. 1978, we moved to KL and we started attending Bhajans at the Brickfield Center. It was being held at the Vivekananda Hall. Actually, I forgot to mention this picture. Can you see some of the people in the picture? Sister Rajesh from Malacca Center, who's now, I think she was chairman of Brickfields for a while. She's an education coordinator. She's there in that picture. Sister Meena is there, who used to be a guru in Malacca. She's moved to US now. I think she's on the call today. And Sister Jayanti, who was later Mrs. Sri Jain, and then Auntie Raji, so many people. And my mom is sitting there in the background. So many people that we know who are there still actively involved in the center and running the center in Malacca. Then Brickfields, I was in Form 5, so I wasn't very active in that year. Then I went up to study in India and things like that. In 88, we came back, Ampang Center was formed. Next slide, please. Yeah, the next slide.
Thank you, Sister. Sister, can you please share with us that how did you get involved in SSE in Malaysia? Yeah. You said that you finished your Form 5 and you went over to India and you came back. And when I came to know that, I saw you as an active guru. Could you please tell us how that you were inspired to become a guru?
Okay, 89, my father was the chairman of Ampang Center, and he encouraged me to go for a training that was being conducted by the council in PD. So in 89, September, I attended a training. In March, I attended a training where Sister Saras and Sister Jagadeva and Sister Poornima, Sister Shanti Jagadishan, Brothers Jagadishan, all of them were there as trainers. And after that, myself and Sister Geeta Nair was there as well. We both went from Ampang. And we came back, and I think that same year, September, we started the classes in Rajarajeshwari Temple. The original enrollment was actually only just 7 kids, and 3 of them were our own. There is one was Sister Geeta's son, and 2 were my own daughters. So it was all a family affair, and our nephews and nieces all joining in. So it was a fun affair at that time. But we grew from there.
Yeah, I think Sister is a wonderful way, and you have followed Swami's message. Swami says service starts from home, and you have started SSE class among your family members, and you have expanded. Yeah, I think that's a great way to do. Okay, Sister, I understand that you were holding as the National Education Coordinator for a long period, a long period of time. And could you please tell or share with us what were some of the programs were implemented during your tenure?
Okay, actually, I was appointed as the state deputy coordinator in 1995, and Sister Geeta Ramachandra was the coordinator, state coordinator. And of course, we were being the busiest and the biggest state, like Selangor and KL were together. We were running around with the national coordinators and doing a lot of things together, enrichment programs and things like that. In 2004, the Educare Academy was started up, and it was formally set up in Hartamas, and all our programs became very structured after that. We had Shakti for the Mahilas, the SSE wing expanded with the Rose parent care, SAI Masters. So I got involved in a lot of these offshoot programs of the Satisai Academy. And the Satisai Parent Care Program, which was formally launched in 2003, became a pet project. I became one of the prime trainers with Brother Reddy, Brother Raju, Brother Guna, and Sister Alka and Vijaya and all of them. So the modules that we did then, of course, were trained and rewritten and redone until we felt that Swami would be satisfied with it. In 2004 was the time I also became chairperson of the center, and I was a bit nervous at speaking in public. So I joined the SAI Masters under Dr. Devi Menon, and that was a really enriching experience. So, and we really, I mean, I've learned the art of speaking and the techniques that they taught us there in the SAI Masters. These programs are still ongoing. Parent care is very much ongoing, SAI Masters too. So I would encourage all youth who are looking for things to do or not sure what to do, to join one or two of these programs and become, enriched. Yeah, and then in 2004, 2005, when Brother Suresh Govind took over as VP of the Educare Academy, I mean the SAI Council Education Wing, he introduced to the Ministry of Education the Values Education Program. He did a very big program. And then we introduced Rukun Nagara. We were encouraged to include Rukun Nagara into our modules, our EHV lessons. And this was a training that was done for the government and the Ministry of Education people. Sister Meenakshi, our current national coordinator, did a lot of work on that. She's come up with books, and including this slide, I think she did at that time, which I found in my collection. So yeah. That's right. So this is our EHV program for the. Then we also at the time when I was national coordinator, we did two programs, the Educare Carnivals, where the first year Brother Sugu was VP, the second year Brother Nakiran had taken over as VP. And yeah, these are national carnivals, but it became too unwieldy number of children, like thousands over children in KL, and we couldn't find a hall and all that. So we stopped doing the national level and we let it out to the states to continue this program. Yeah. The first Valvikas graduation. Now that we had an academy, we decided we should formalize. The children must feel good about going for these Valvikas and things like that. So we had a formal graduation ceremony from 2004, and the first one was held in Securities Commission Hall. It was a very grand ceremony where children and gurus and council members, all wearing sashes, and students who completed group 3, that is form 3 at school, were all called in to graduate. Among them, among the 45 or so in each batch, one was selected as a valedictorian to read out the pledge. The coordinator then handed over the group 3. There was a group 3 coordinator who formally handed over to the teen youth coordinator the list of names in the class. So then they were now the responsibility of the youth wing to mentor from then on. So there were some of the books that we came up with at that time. And they were given certificates of merits and certificate of attendance. All received the attendance certificate. Yeah. Then the next round, by 2008 or so, we had a change in the whole arrangement. The graduating students were now, we brought in the teen youth program into the education wing. And so it was not the youth wing anymore. They were coming into the group 4 system. And so the whole process for them to graduate became different. We used to conduct a viva, and we conducted a written exam for them. And for the viva, we called in invigilators from outside, and there we can see some of your Sister Nalini, Dr. Nalini's colleagues, and some were Dr. Murali's colleagues, and there were people from the FGIS, the friendship group, the Interfaith Harmony group. So they all came in and they were judges. They were all very, very impressed with our children. They said, for 15, yeah.
Sister, sorry to interfere. Can you please explain why did you choose that different people from outside SAI institution as well as from different faith? Was there any specific reason for choosing such a personality to be sat in the evaluation of a Viva?
Yeah, because actually unity of faiths is very much part of our curriculum, the syllabus that we teach in the classes. So we wanted the children to be exposed, to be asked these questions by the people who are practicing those religions. And these children came back with answers perfectly fitting what they were asked, and the invigilators were very impressed with them. So, yeah.
Oh. So they provided expected answers.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Thank you, sister. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
would you like to comment on this, sister?
Yeah. Then by the 10th anniversary of our academy, we decided we must go one step higher, one step grander. So we got robe stitch for the children. There's a whole miracle story behind the stitching of the robes. I had to go around to lots of places, lots of tailors asking for quotations and things. And it was like 300, 400 per robe, they were telling me. And then I think Brother Suresh introduced some university people who did for the universities, and very, very expensive quotations we got. And then I had an idea. Why don't Sister Saras and all would, and Sister Maya was there. She was suggesting going to Kamdar and getting the fabric and getting it stitched. So I said, okay. And then where will I go look for the gold, that little bit of gold on the sides? And then I went to, I just happened to pass by a shop, a tiny little shop in Pudu. I went in and I found this bales and bales of thing at 380 a meter, you know. And that lady in the shop, she said, no, it won't fade. It will remain forever, this and that. So I had to buy like 16, 18, 20 meters, I think, for all our 50 robes that we did at the first time. So like that, it was like everything fell in place so beautifully just in time for the graduation ceremony. And we had it done in some colors, different colors. The invited guests were in purple. The council members in blue, the boys and girls, the students in red. Teachers also in another color. I forget what color it was. So yeah, so that's how it was. Yeah.
I think this is a very beautiful ceremony. I remember one of the graduation sessions were attended by the Prashanti people, and they were so amazed to see how Malaysia conducts our graduation ceremony. You know, I think this is one country around the SAI world that conducts graduation
ceremony. That's true, because so many of you are from the university, so we follow in that style. Yeah, it's really true.
Yeah. Congratulations to Sister Tara and the team for coming up with this beautiful idea. Yes, sister. Yeah.
And then in 2014, we did a conference in human values at the University of Malaya. It was really it was attended, and the guest of honor was our Deputy Education Minister, Dr. Mary Yap. A human value conference. The theme was value-based education in the new millennium. And then during the main conference, where the main speakers were giving their talks, there were little sub-themes of the conference in the different rooms, embedding values in curriculum design, teaching values through social media, action-based research in value-based teaching, things like that, and then making values palatable to Gen Z. So, you know, that kind of thing. And then that same year, or the year after, I think it was 2015, we went to Parthi during Guru Purnima. And there was a big conference there, which was hosted by Malaysia. One of the main coordinators of that program was Malaysians. We were all there. 2 days I was there as in the Guru's wing side, and whatever needed to be done, I did. And then suddenly on the third day, they said Malaysia also has a very vibrant ladies wing, Wanita wing, and we need somebody to explain the whole thing, you know, how it all works, what is happening in Malaysia. So at that point, suddenly Brother Suresh said, okay, you are already helping Vijaya and Sister Vijaya in the light program. Why can you explain something? So overnight we had to sit and draw placards, and there was Sister Prema from my center. A few of us were there at the same time. So we had to draw up all the decorations and explanations on the thing and put it up all over Purnachandra Hall. And I had to explain the light program there, like suddenly, and it was okay. And I mean, I had worked with Sister Vijaya on the light for a few times, so it was okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, sister, you have got a lot of experience, and you grew with the Academy of Council. Like, when I look at the graduation, for the first batch they wore white and white, second batch they wore the sash, and the third batch they wore with the academic robe. Okay, now what is your vision for Academy?
Oh, okay. My vision for the Academy, I would say, is basically to continue. It's going on very well. It's for the now 15 years it's been running. It's been handed over the mantle to you, Sister Nalini, at that time, I remember. And then now it's in the hands of Sister Meena, and it's going very strong and very well. Of course, with pandemic time, it's been on Zoom, all the classes going on, and very much more participation. I see, because even international students are joining our center classes, because it's just a matter of getting on your phone in the mornings. So it's working out very well in one sense. When I took on this position of national coordinator, I wasn't at all very confident. I wasn't sure that I was the best person for the role, but I think I grew into it over the 4 or 5 years that I was there. And it was a bit of a upheaval time in my life as well, because I had to move for a year to PD. Then I was like traveling from there to KL and doing a lot of things in between. I was center chairman at the same time. So it was a tough time, but I grew into it. And I think with the guidance of the elders on the scene at the time, and of course our beloved Bhagwan Baba's as an inspiration, it went on well. I'm glad to note that Brother Sugu and the team have eased the confusion of the rebranding of the council that was going on during the last few months, and I hope to see the Academy flourish. And by the 20th year, it could become an institute, which was actually the original aim. And the SSIOM and SSIO reach greater heights.
Thank you very much, sister. With all well wishes around in Sai fraternity, I'm very sure that Satya Sai Academy as well as the organization will reach to a greater height. Thank you so much. Before I take leave, sister, I'm so amazed with your last slide. It looks like Swami is standing there and all of you are pointing out your hand to ask Swami, asking Swami to hold your hand. So could you please end your session by explaining this portrait, the exciting or catchy portrait here?
Okay. Yeah, this was taken in PD after the AGM when we handed over to the new council members. And yeah, we were sort of take my hand, dear Sai, and let us continue in your path, in your service, but not in our positions until then. In different positions, we will do what you need us to do. So that was a council at that time, the new ones as well. All of us were there. State coordinators also, I think. Yeah, that's right. So.
Okay, thank you, sister. Okay, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the panelists today, Auntie Saras, Sister Tara, and the 5 beautiful summer course girls. Thank you so much for being with us. And thank you, Sister Sai Tarshini, for being the co-moderator today. We have one question here. Before we end the session, we would like to have one question here in the chat box. I'm not sure there are 2 Anusia here. So here, Sister Anusia, can you share about your pendant Swami materialized for you? I'm not sure whether it's Anusia Jagadisan or Anusia Muthu.
Anumutu.
Oh, okay. Anu Muthu. Can you please explain, Sister Anu?
Sairam. Okay, this was the year that we gave the card and Swami said the Navagraha. So what actually transpired was, so when we gave the card and he asked us how many, then we said 9, and then he actually counted. And he was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then he said 1, 2, buckle my shoe, 3, 4, shut the door. And then he changed it a little bit. He tweaked it. Anyone can just jump in. I can't remember the exact line. And then he said 7, 8, sit and wait. 9, 10.
In my heart.
In my heart.
Yes.
Sit and wait in my heart. And then he said, your 1 photographs. Okay, the first thought that came into my mind, photographs. It's like, okay, I have a lot, but never mind. Anything from you, it's okay. And then, he just went and in one stroke of his, his usual thing, and there were 9 pendants that he had materialized, identical pendants. And that's when we all, he gave each one of us one at that time. So it was like, we didn't expect anything, and like he wanted photographs and he gave us pendants. So yeah, so that's how, we all received something from him.
Yeah. Thank you, Anu.
Sisters, I would like to say, I was praying that he will make every one of them happy. And as we went in, he straight away materialized the 9 patterns for them. I was so happy for them. Thank you, Anu.
Oh, all the 9 girls received pendant? Anu, all of you received?
Yes, all of us, including Auntie Saras. So all 9, the 9 of us that were there, the so-called Navagrahas. God, I just hope
how unfortunate. How fortunate you are, and unfortunate I was that I missed the turn. I wish Swami, please give us a chance. Maybe not now, in future. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Anu. Thank you for sharing. Okay, Auntie Saras, would you like to say your final remark, Auntie, before we end the session? Auntie Saras, are you here with us?
Can I unmute?
Yeah,
I would like to say,
you,
it's not what I am doing. They were all together, about nearly 14 of them who went. But these 5 are now, at the moment, they are very in Swami's movement, and they are doing a lot of work, Valvikas, EHA program, and they are conducting classes. And I'm actually like Anumuthu, Premla, and her daughters, they all living that part, I was hoping that one day these girls to tell the grandchildren, oh, my grandmother went to see Sai Baba, like as to those days, and we think, oh, when Krishna was there, Krishna was alive. So it is something that I hope that they will treasure. I think I enjoyed most being with them.
Yeah, thank you very much, Auntie. You have given a golden opportunity for these girls, and also all of us who have learned from you, as you were one of the gurus for many of us, and we are still learning from the others. Thank you so much, Auntie. Okay, just one last call from the audience. Anyone would like to say? We have time for one comment or one feedback. Anyone would like to share anything from the audience? From the floor? Okay, if none, okay, the main objective of having this session is to express our gratitude to the elders who have served, who have contributed to the growth of this organization. And Swami says, you must show gratitude with humility and sincerity to whoever has done to you any good. And I put my hands together on behalf of all the gurus and children. Thank you, Swami. Thank you, aunties, because there are many gurus here, Auntie Jagadeva and many other teachers here. Thank you so much for guiding us, and all good things must come to an end. So here we have come to our end, and I would like to express my immense gratitude to our beloved Bhagwan, Auntie Saras, Auntie Thara, Sister Sai Karshmi, and the petals of Summer Course girls, then ladies now, and brothers and sisters for being with us for the last 90 minutes. We hope that all of you have benefited and learned how the SSIO, SSE is grown to this level today is the contribution and the seeds planted by our elders. Thank you, Sairam. I would like to invite our VP, Brother Ramana, to end the call today. Brother Ramana, you are here with us. Over to you, Brother Ramana, the VP of Spiritual. Sairam, Brother Ramana, are you here? Okay, since Brother Ramana is not here, okay, we would like to take this opportunity. Thank you, all of you, for joining us. And thank you, Sairam. And we shall end the session with the Shanti. Sister Sai, can you end the session?
Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, thank you. And